How do you feel about kingdoms? What about dragons? This book might just be the one for you. First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Kade Vale for sending me a digital copy of his book, Seventh Oath, and giving me the opportunity to read and review it. I had the opportunity to read and review his first novel, The Deleted Husband, on my social platforms a few months ago at the very beginning of the year around January. So I was very thrilled when he reached out and asked me to read this next book of his. So let's get on to the reason why you're here and let's get into the book. If you're new here, I like to give my reviews without any spoilers. I like to give just like a little bit of context, a little bit of backstory, so you kind of know what you are signing up for. So we're following two characters in this. We're following Marcus and Lian. I might be saying her name wrong, Lian. I'm so sorry if I am, but Lian. Marcus is from a royal family. His dad is king, but unfortunately, his dad had an affair, had a mistress, and so his mom, unfortunately, is not of royal descent. We immediately are thrown into this book at the tail end of a battle that just took place. They're basically just securing the kingdom grounds and making sure enemies are not invading. Marcus is at the front line of this. He is leading his people. He is a fantastic leader. He cares for his people and they love him and support him and really want him to be the next king. So at the end of this battle, he gets called into court by his father where he thinks that this is the time. This is when he's going to get announced that he is next in line for the throne. He is going to be heir. He is going to be king. Lo and behold, we are just like slapped right in the face. His dad, the king, says that because he is not like 100% royal blood, the heir and next in line for the throne is going to go to his brother. Marcus is a little pissed. I would be too. And so with all of this, the king decides to exile and banish Marcus and ship him off to the Frozen Kingdom where he is basically like in charge of the mountain, which is like the big thing in this whole book. Due to a long-standing curse, the mountain every so often requires a sacrifice in order to just kind of keep everything like at peace, keep it appeased. So it's like it's magic. It's a magical mountain that etches a name of somebody into its walls, which the priest then like says it in front of like Hunger Games reaping style to this village. Therefore comes in Lian. Lian is just a girl. She's just a normal girl. She's living with their mom. She's going on with her day-to-day life. They come together for this quote-unquote reaping, which actually got delayed, which was very suspicious, but nobody seemed to actually care or bat an eye. They just kind of went on with their lives, which is like red flag number one, just FYI. But basically, the entire town knows that it's time for a sacrifice to be named. And while it sucks, they kind of believe like this is destiny. It's like a gift to be chosen. And again, nobody wants to be chosen, but like it has to be happen. And Lian, unfortunately, is the name that was called. So we fast forward a little bit. Lian is on her way to the mountain to be the sacrifice. And instead of actually being a sacrifice, the mountain actually like accepts her and like lets her be one with its magic, its destiny, all the overlord powers it kind of has. But with this acceptance of her into the mountain, it came with a price. And that price being, she now has like this special bond with Marcus. The bond allows them to essentially feel everything the other person is feeling. So that includes like thoughts, like actual feelings towards other people, and of course, actual physical pain, which I thought was so cool, so interesting. They actually physically cannot be far away from each other, or else Lian has difficulty breathing and feels like her lungs are collapsing in on itself. I thought that was really interesting, really fascinating. We're talking about literal forced proximity here. First, Lian wakes up in this fortress and immediately is having difficulty breathing, and she kind of puts two and two together. She can feel Marcus roaming around somewhere, and and she can feel when he gets farther away when she starts having the issues with the breathing. So she knows I need to kind of step this way, I need to go down this hallway, etc. in order to actually, live and breathe. So that happens. And then also, never having set foot in this fortress before, she's able to like weave in and out of all of these stairs, hallways, rooms to find Marcus because he had a wound in his side that's causing physical pain with Leon. So she was able to just like track Marcus through this fortress, through his pain, so she could go help him relieve it, essentially. Like, he was trying to sew up the wound himself, and she's like, you crazy, back up, let me do it. Now that Leon was not sacrificed, she was accepted by the mountain, and she has this strange bond happening with Marcus. Things are changing within the mountain. The two of them can feel something beneath them, and something is awakening. Perhaps some dragons? There we go. That's the gist, the backstory, everything going on. Kind of talked a little bit about the things that I thought was really interesting, the plot points, the plot devices, all these little nuances, little characteristics that's happening. Like, I thought it was so fascinating. It was so interesting. If you want more details, you're just gonna have to go read the book yourself. That's all I'm giving you. I would classify this book as a YA fantasy. While there is some romantic tension between Marcus and Leon, nothing actually happens between the two of them. You can feel that they're kind of like possessive of each other. They want to care for the other person, but like, we had like a little scandalous hand holding here and there, but like, this isn't smut. This isn't spicy. There's none of that happening right now. I'm saying this to let you know that this is not a romantasy. There is no sexual content. It's not explicit. This is a very age-appropriate fantasy for younger audiences. In fact, that is exactly who I would recommend this book to. I would recommend this to a younger audience that kind of wants to get into the fantasy world, but instead of diving right into the adult aspects of fantasy books, this is like the perfect starter book to get them into it. And so with that, I will say that the writing style feels a bit young for me. It was a very easy and fast-paced read, but sometimes the plot would kind of lose me. It would get jumbled at times. It would be a little hard to follow. Some parts of it felt like Kade just took like all fantasy elements you could think of and just like threw it into this book, not quite making it cohesive or making it make sense. Like, obviously I have a lot of questions about the mountain and like, how exactly does it operate? What is the magical part of it? Like, how does this all tie in? How does it work? But don't get me wrong. Again, I did enjoy this book. I loved reading it. I had such a blast with it. If you have any kind of fantasy with dragons, kingdoms, magic, I'm all for it. No matter what. I will say the second half of this book did get rather repetitive. It was constantly repeating the same plot points, the main dialogue points, that I felt like I was reading the same chapter over and over again with the smallest addition of some sort of plot point to keep the story moving forward. Next point is that I actually wish that there was more of the story. When it comes to fantasy, you need to develop the world. There's a lot of details that need to go into it to actually help the audience fully immerse themselves and feel like that they're in this imaginary world. And I feel like I got like halfway there, but I wasn't fully immersed in it. So I really wanted more world development, character development. And I think the way that this book was ended was that Kade is planning to write more within this world. And so that would be my suggestion for the next books, is that there needs to be more development in every single aspect you can think of: character, dialogue, world, side characters. Literally everything could be expanded upon. We can get the details. We want the details, I promise you. I would also love to see more relationship building between Marcus and Leon. I do feel like we were lacking in it quite a lot in this book, especially because they are the main characters. There is one thing that I also want to note. Something strange happened. Chapter 7 is almost an exact replica of the second half of chapter 5. And I think there was like a day in between I was reading these. So I was like, didn't I already read this? Go back, discover, yes, I did. I'm reading the exact same chapter over again, but it's different. This scene in particular makes very complete sense where it's located at the end of chapter 5. It does not make sense where it is at chapter 7. However, chapter 7, near identical. There is some verbiage that's different. There are a couple added sentences. So I did want to note, while I was getting ready to read this, Kade did reach out to me and tell me that he was still kind of tweaking some stuff and editing it, and he sent me the link to the final product, which is the one that I read. But who's to say that something didn't happen in that editing process and one of those is not supposed to be there? So it could be purely accidental that there just happened to be a chapter repeat, or it could be intentional because chapter 7 is like slightly different, like 5% different, I would say. Just know that going into this book, you might see that happen. Kade might catch it beforehand, but that is definitely something that I caught while I was reading it and was very confused by it. There were some things that were predictable throughout the book, but I will say that the plot twists I definitely didn't see coming. So that was really fun to experience and see what happened. And once those plot twists did happen, it completely changed the course of this book, the outcome of it. It was really fun. It was really fun to experience. So with all that to be said, everything I just talked about, I do rate this book 3.5 stars. It wasn't very challenging for me. I was left with quite a few questions. Again, I really wanted more world development, more character development, more relationship dynamic between Marcus and Leon, but it was still a fun and enjoyable read. I do recommend this for all the fantasy lovers out there to go check out this book. But this is not a romantasy, so if that's your genre, nothing happens. Fair warning. Thank you again to Kade for sending me a digital copy of your book and allowing me the opportunity to read and review it. I really did enjoy your book. I cannot wait to see what success the future is going to bring for you, and can't wait to read your future books. Seventh Oath is a newer release. It just came out March 21st, so it's hot off the presses. It is available to purchase right now on Kindle, or it is free if you have Kindle Unlimited. I will have a link to that in my description and in the comments for you guys to go check it out and purchase it if you are interested in reading this book. That's everything that I have for Seventh Oath. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next book review.